Have you ever went out and purchased a knife, got it home, started using it, and then went, man, I really wish I would have gotten a different knife? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about 6 knives that I wish I would have bought something different on at the time that I bought it. So these are the 6 we're going to talk about. So let's move some of these away, and we'll start here with this buck knife. So anyone that is on the channel knows that I like flipper knives. So I thought, man, this would be nice. I was a buck fan, especially early on when I started my knife collecting. I thought they were nice. They were good value for the money. They had been around for forever, and I saw this one, and it kind of hit the notes that I like: titanium look, carbon fiber inlay, kind of going on. I thought, man, this is really nice. And I don't even know on this knife. It might actually be titanium, but I bought this guy, and as soon as I opened it up and flipped it open, I was like, oh no, because this frame lock is just way too loose. I don't know if you can see it here, but it's way too loose, and so it makes the blade have play to it, front to back. And I've tried some different things to make this better, but ultimately the machining and the quality on this guy is not up to par for this particular knife. So I think this is I don't think this is the blade steel, because I've never heard of a 264 blade steel. So I think this is the model. I think this is a 264. But just wasn't happy with it because the quality on it isn't great. And even though the action's nice and it looks nice, just that not having that secure lock, and when you're holding it, you can feel the frame lock moving around on you. I just hate it, and so it's just poor quality control. And then the carbon fiber inlay, it's not perfectly straight. It kind of warps up. I don't even know that it's real carbon fiber, so I was just disappointed by that. So what I would recommend instead is, if you want something that's kind of like a CEO style flipper, it's not going to break the bank, look to get the original, the CRKT CEO. So this comes in 9 million different color combinations. You can get Damascus or standard steels. It's nothing crazy to write home about. You can get them with flippers, you can get them with thumb studs, but they're popular for a reason. They are super slim profile, ultra deep carry pocket clip on it. If you're going to have it at work or need to be someplace where you need something that's more discreet or a little bit more professional, you can't go wrong. And there's more premium materials that you can get. Another one in this space would be the Boker Plus. That one's a really great one as well. I just don't have one of those in my personal collection to be able to show you today. So first one there, don't get the buck, get the CRKT instead. All right, the second one that I regret buying is also a buck. And I bought it, I think, roughly around the same time. Again, I love the materials. The titanium style handles, which again, these may be, they may not be, I can't remember for sure. The little kind of like copperish accents looked great on this guy. And I even like these inlays. I don't know what they are. They're kind of like G10. But they look great with the knife, and like you got that nice back spacer. So it's a great looking knife, a deep carry pocket clip, again, a flipper. And the blade shape was unique. So I thought, okay, I'm going to go get this guy. I think the blade shape's really cool. Don't have one like this. But again, as soon as I got it home, I started realizing, well, this isn't super sharp. It's kind of a weird blade shape where, you have a nice choil that you can choke up on here, but what am I going to cut with it? Because it doesn't sit and this point kind of hits, it's harder to kind of chop with it. I was thinking maybe it'd be like a food style knife that I could use, but really the way that it's angled, it doesn't work well like that. So really it's more like a straight razor type, but I don't have a need for something like that. So part of this was on me for this one, that I went out and got a blade shape that I didn't even know how to use. But again, don't know, for the price and everything, it just wasn't great. So what I would get instead is if you want something more unique on a blade shape style, I really like this Kershaw. So it's an assisted open hawkbill blade. It's called the Dawn Star. I reviewed this in another video as well. 8CR 13 MOV steel. It's not the best steel in the world, but it's been used in a lot of places. It's going to last for a while. You can resharpen it. But you know, I like the ergonomics on this guy. I like, you know, where your thumb's going to rest here. These are, you know, just like FRN style handles, but they feel nice. There's a nice, you know, integral lock in the frame here. And it does have that little bit of assist. It's not too much, but it's just enough. So I just really like this guy. I think if you want something interesting, something that's a little different, and you're going to have kind of a more tip down kind of point on it, I think you're better served with this. And this one's going to be more useful in cutting tasks. And the steel, I think, is better than what comes on this buck. So that's my second one that I regret buying that was also a buck, and I would get that Kershaw instead. Kershaw has just been knocking it out of the park lately. So the next one that I regret buying is this Spyderco. And you may be saying, well, why are you talking about Spyderco, regretting buying a Spyderco? And I agree. Spydercos are fantastic knives. There's very few that I've run into that I've not thoroughly enjoyed, but this is one of them. And it's not that I don't like the style or anything. I mean, this is the Paramilitary 2. The style is fantastic, and I like the color. And this particular one was made in Golden, Colorado, which is where you want your Spydercos made at. BD1N steel, so they use this in a lot of places. It's a good steel. Any steel that Spyderco uses, they always have it nice and sharp out of the factory. And the price on this, if I recall, was not bad. And it's got aluminum handles. So it's checking all the boxes on why it should be a good knife. I love the compression lock from Spyderco. I think it's one of the best, easiest to use locks that's out there. So why do I not like it? Well, because this thing is a shredder. It shreds your pants pockets like nothing else. This milled aluminum that they did, believe this was, I think, a Blade HQ exclusive. They came in multiple colors. I think they had red and blue, and I think there were 2 other colors as well. But this milling, this like fly milling pattern that they did on this with this super tight pocket clip causes this to just rip your jeans apart when you put it in your pocket. So although I love everything about the knife, aside from that, it's like somebody didn't test this before they actually put it out to market. Nobody actually carried it in their pocket, because if a single person carried it in a pair of blue jeans, they would have immediately said, this clip is way too tight and this stuff is going to shred it. So a simple change of the pocket clip design to something different that wasn't quite, you know, as forcefully pushing the material into your pocket would have resolved that. So don't get the exclusive version with the milled aluminum. Just get the original. Get a G10 PM2. This one has the steel that I like a little bit better too, the S45VN. This was my daily carry for many years until I got more and more knives, and now I switch it up every single day. But this one's seen some heavy use from me. Fantastic knife. Really love it. You cannot go wrong with the PM2 from a blade perspective. You can only go wrong with it when it shreds your pants because of material choices. So that's the number 3 that I regretted buying. So next we're going to look at fixed blades. So there's a little bit of a price discrepancy on this one. This was a relatively inexpensive, I want to say it was like 40 or 50 bucks, CRKT fixed blade, and it looked cool, and that's why I bought it. All right, it has a nice little Kydex-like style sheath. It has a little pull, even has a tiny little skull on it, which is interesting. And it itself looks cool. It's called, forgive me if I butcher this, the Obake, I think might be how it's pronounced. It's a Burnley design, Damascus kind of style steel pattern on there. So the pattern on the blade is beautiful. It's cool. You got this samurai style wrap around it, and then down underneath it, there's like some type of like leather material that's wrapped underneath there too. So it just looks fantastic. But what I don't love about this one is the steel. It just doesn't keep an edge very well. I had actually gotten this to throw in my tool bag. It's just a cool knife to have when I need to slice through cardboard and things like that. And it just doesn't have the edge retention to hold up to anything like that. So if you just wanted this to be a letter opener or something, I think it would work great. If you didn't mind sharpening it very, very regularly, just to have the appearance, that's fantastic. But as an everyday use kind of knife, it just falls short. And it doesn't have any safety features, right? This is okay, but if you're really getting into things, there's not a lot of a choil here. So it would be pretty easy to cut yourself as well. So instead of that, one of my recent purchases and new favorites is the Benchmade Dacian. So this has a leather and Kydex sheath that is really nice. So you can have it for cross draw by running this through your belt, or it's small enough that you can just drop that in your pocket as well. So also a great looking knife, way better ergonomically in your hand. Some nice micarta handles on it. Comes in a couple of different colors that you can get. So this is the black micarta with the black blade. You can also get, I believe there's a blue micarta, and then MagnaCut steel. So Benchmade's MagnaCut is not the best. It is a little bit softer than it should be on the Rockwell hardness test, but it's still better than a lot of the steels that are out there today. So I do really like this guy. Ergonomically, size-wise, it's really great. You can see here size-wise, it's about the same. Does run $300, so it is much more expensive. But you're not going to regret your decision on buying that guy. You will regret potentially throwing away $50 on that, because it's more of something you're going to put on your shelf to look at, as opposed to something that's a real tool. All right, next up on one that I regret buying are this guy. So this is not a bad knife. It is, again, a flipper. I like flippers. It's a Boker Plus D2 steel. Looks nice. You've got the carbon fiber handles on it. D2 steel is great. It is, frame lock. Sorry, excuse my cough. And again, flipper, has a nice back spacer that goes all the way kind of around the backside here. It's a good knife, but I think I paid like $150 for this. And at the end of the day, it's super heavy and it is quite thick. It is not an overbuilt knife by any means, so it just kind of becomes one that is not real fun to carry in your pocket. You'd think with the carbon fiber on the outside that it might lose some of its weight. And if you can see up in there, they've even cored out some of the steel, but somehow this thing still weighs a ton, and it is a pretty big knife, respectively. And so for the money and the weight, it just it doesn't find its way into my pocket. So I kind of regret getting that one. So what would I get instead? I would get the Civivi Praxis. Again, comes in a bunch of different colors. Similar sizing, maybe just a hair longer, but it has a deep carry pocket clip as opposed to one that is not. And, you can get some steels like Nitro V, I think, in this, but this particular one has a Damascus steel, which has held up well, much better than the Damascus that was on the CRKT that I just showed. Button lock on this guy, so the action is really nice. Flipper works great. Button lock works great. All aluminum handle, and because it's all aluminum on the handles, it is much lighter. So even though this is a bigger knife, it does have a nice choil that you can now choke up on more. The ergonomics are better with where your fingers are placed. You feel safer with this guy, and it's much lighter and it's much slimmer. So much better knife and much better price point. No matter what variant you get of that guy, it's going to be under $100. So save yourself $50 to $100 and get a Praxis as opposed to this Boker Plus. And then the last one. This one's a tough one. This is the most expensive knife that I ever bought, and I love the look of it. Again, Love titanium. Love flippers. This kind of flamed TI look that they have going through it. Magna cut steel. Beautiful knife, you know. But in a $500 to $600 price point, you want a lot out of it. And what I don't love about this, and I didn't mention it, this is a Heretic Medusa. So for anybody that doesn't know, Heretic is a little bit smaller brand that makes a lot of autos, and they make a lot of these Medusa styles as well. And they are doing really cool things with materials. The owner of Heretic is, I believe, the son of the owner for one of the other major knife manufacturers that's out there, which is the one I would buy in its place, Microtech. So you can see the inspiration. You know, Microtech came first. But yeah, so this is the father, Microtech. This is the son with Heretic. And the designs, be it their autos or their folders like this, are very inspired from one another. And I like that Heretic pushes it. I mean, I'll link one down below so you can see some of the variants that they have. But they have ones that almost look like cartoonish in their painting. Like if you were a fan of Power Rangers growing up, they have ones that kind of look like a dagger a Power Ranger may would have carried with them. And to do that all with finishes is really cool, but the execution on this guy just isn't great. It is heavy, it is overbuilt, so it's going to weigh down your pocket. And that's not, you know, the end-all be-all of it. If that was the only thing, my only gripe, that would be fine. But the other things are, you know, it has kind of a dragging sound. I don't know if you can hear it. There's a little squeak, even when oiled, where just the little ball detent, and you can see the ball detent there, and even the little drag mark where it's dragging across, where there could just be a little bit better maybe tolerancing or design on how that functions to make that a little smoother. So because of that, that makes this not always want to deploy all the way unless you really flick it hard. And then the Magna Cut here, I haven't tested the hardness on this, but it just doesn't feel as sharp as the other Magna Cuts that I've had. And now granted, this is a much thicker blade stock that they're trying to taper down, and so it's probably not as fine of a point as you would see certainly on like a Bel Air or anything like that. But I'd like for it to be a little bit sharper being a Magna Cut. And, you know, I haven't used a lot, but this coating, whatever the coating style that they're using here is, just hasn't held up as well as I would have liked. So, you know, for the price point, even though it looks great, it just doesn't feel great. So I don't like it as much to carry. So that's why I would get the Microtech Stitch instead. This is in M390. You know, they use this in all of their knives. I kind of have mixed feelings about it. Again, I've not tested it, but I kind of feel like their M390 MK that they use for all Microtechs seems to me to not have as good an edge retention as I would like, and maybe sometimes feels a little soft and not as slicey, but this is still a great knife. This runs, I believe, about half the cost of this one. G10 with stainless steel liners. It's got the ram lock that they have on there, which is their version of the Benchmade Axis lock. So it's a really nice, easy to use knife. It does have, you know, a huge hole here for when you want to deploy, which is hard to do on camera underneath the light here. But it is a really nice knife, good value for the money on this guy comparatively to the Medusa. So the father is the master still when it comes to functionality of the knife. If you're looking purely at aesthetics, Heretic is a great one to look at. So anyway, those are the 6 knives that I regret in my collection that I bought over the years, that I wish I would have gotten something different, and I eventually did get something different. So that's the direction I would have gone with these different knives. So thank you for watching. Again, everything shown in this video, I will have a link below that if you want to click on it, will take you directly to some place to purchase it, either Blade HQ or Amazon usually. And those are affiliate links. Those help me create a little bit of profit for this channel so that I can buy more products for you guys to look at and for me to review. So by using those to purchase, it does help me out and help me bring more content here. But make sure you like and subscribe as well. I need more subscribers so these videos can get out to a broader audience and can help me with the YouTube algorithm. So thank you again for watching. This has been CarryCode, and I'll catch you on the next video.